Alrighty. Welcome back, y'all. Sales Bro Pod, episode 21. This time around, we got Mr. Tristan and Nolan. Tristan,
Yo,
good to
yo.
have you.
What's up? Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man. It's good to have you. I feel like it's long awaited. Started venturing out to talk to more salespeople. And I guess that's what you're up to, huh? You're a sales
You
guy?
led me back to me. Huh? No, I'm kidding.
So, yeah, guys, for context, for those of you, if you're in the community, I mean, you know who Tristan is. If you're not in the community and you're not on sales Twitter or whatever you want to call it, maybe you don't know this guy. Tristan, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, I'm a full-time closer right now. Do a live call once a week for the community, for the boys, you guys know. And then right now I'm also kind of doing some coaching with Jay and David, which everyone knows as well. They've been on the pod. And then I do a little bit of shit posting in between that.
A little bit of shit posting, a little bit of stirring the pot on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tristan's, a gentleman that I connected with back in my early Twitter days when I was like, I think it was before the community. Honestly, I don't know. Was it? Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. I was trying to help someone like break into high ticket sales, and he was the lucky giveaway winner or something like that. And then we connected. Then he went on to.
Yeah, it was like didn't you put out a tweet? It was like, I'm gonna get one person in the high ticket space. I don't know how many people did you like interview?
I talked to like 10 or 20 people, but like people who had experience kept messaging me. I was like, dude, I want somebody with zero experience. Like, you're overqualified for this. That's why you were perfect, because you had no sales experience. So
yeah, I remember there was like, what was the date? It was like May or June, and I saw a tweet because I was like scrolling on Money Twitter, and there was like cereal sales with your like semi-anon profile picture, and it was like, I'll get one dude in the space, and I was like, fuck it, like I'll throw my name in the list, because I was like hearing about the high ticket stuff from like Caden. He was like the primary guy that I saw. And then hopped on the Zoom call. You always say this all the time, but I almost no-showed it because I was like so scared to like hop on the Zoom call. I was like, fuck this, dude. I'm about to like not even show it. Showed up, cool ass dude, and then you're like, yeah, dude, let's run it. And here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, he showed up shaking in his boots, all nervous. He was sweating and I could see it. And so I power framed him and I was like, dude,
came in there, boy, walked out a man.
Yeah, no, I mean that's kind of how it happened, but kind of not. I mean, I honestly don't even remember that conversation, but talked to a bunch of people, and then I was like, yeah, Tristan, he seems. I was like, who do I actually feel like can not only can I get them in, but like who could do well? And I was like, yeah, Tristan seems smart. Like let me try with this guy. And so you got in, you went through your the pretty typical appointment setter, ups
Trenches.
and downs, the trenches. Yeah, you were on some pretty shoddy offers, probably more than most people, honestly. Doing like a little bit of cold calling and stuff, right?
Yeah, like, so what's funny is there's that doc that you have where it's like the whole SOP and how to find an offer. Like, I remember you building that out in time. You were like, Tristan, I'm going to build this out. And it was like a blank Google doc. And it's funny, like, how it is now. But I hopped in like a DM Facebook setting offer. It was terrible. Didn't make $1. And then, like, I was kind of building out my Twitter simultaneously as I was hopping on these offers. Hopped on like a solar thing. I think that started too early. So I didn't really make any money off of that. And then hopped on like a few other offers. Everyone knows the one offer. I'm not going to dox it, but it's just like a little meme of the community. But it was kind of like just didn't sit right with me. My gut was like, nah. And then while I was kind of hopping on offer and offer, going through the trenches, as some would say, not making a dime for like 6 months, a dude hit me up on Twitter. I'll just dox him. Closer Kev, he's my boy. Me and him established a really good friendship. But he was like, hey, dude, I know you're like a closer. Are you looking for a closing position? And I wasn't a closer at the time. And bro, whenever someone says like, yo, you want a closing role? And you don't have any experience, you're just going to like jump at it. And it was like no proof of concept at all. But started working with Kev. He's a great guy, and we just exited that offer. Ramped it from like zero, no proof of concept, to like give or take 500K over like 6 months. So I'm pretty proud of that those results there.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. So it feels like not even that long ago when you were on that one offer that we're not going to name, where you're like, dude, I don't know, I think I'm going to get off, and then through Twitter, like how much of a following did you have when you got connected with Kev?
I want to say like 800. I was pretty well connected at this point, and I can't tell you how. I think it just happened naturally because I was kind of having fun on Twitter and just like talking with people. Because I'm like pretty well connected with like the good mutual, like all those like Caden and Trey and all those, like we know each other. Um, but I probably had like 800 followers, and then I remember I saw Kev's like tweets, and I remember telling him this. I'm like, I'm gonna get this guy to follow me. So I was the reply guy on every single one of his tweets. I was like replying because his DMs were closed, and then he finally followed me back, and I shot him a DM, and he was like, timing's not really right now. I'll hit you up if it's in the future, and then he hit me up, and then boom.
Dude, I mean, that's like, you can't tell somebody to go and do all of that. You know, it's like you can't put that shit in a course. It's like, oh yeah, you need to like reply to this guy's tweets and then play the long game and, you know, reach out first and wait for them to get back. Like, it's just like you just kept showing up. Like, that's kind of what stands out to me. You just
Yep.
like were determined to make it happen, and then you kept meeting more people, and just by default, like eventually the opportunity presented itself for you to like start closing, start making some decent money,
Some bread. Yep.
some bread. Yeah, dude. So let's see, man. There's a lot of different ways we could take the podcast. Um, take it that our average viewer is, you know, late teenage 20s, later 20s type person. Maybe they're looking to get into sales or looking to get into high ticket sales. What were, if you could like do it all again from before you, like from right after our first meeting that we had, before you were an appointment setter, cold calling, had the brand, whatever, like what would you do differently to do it faster?
It's a good question. One part of me says like not to join a lot of the coaching like programs just because they're kind of like most of them. There's exceptions, obviously, but I did gain like a lot of like connections and network through there, which was important. So in hindsight, like I wouldn't change anything because I am where I am now. Um, but I just feel like the big one is like join communities, like talk with people, and be like, it sounds so corny, like be genuine with the people that you have, because you don't know. Like again, we talk about this. I have a DM with you. I was like, hey, dude, looking to get in the sales. Like one DM can change your life, right? So every person that you connect with and that likes you, just kind of increases your luck surface area, as we say
Mhm.
it. So I think, and at the end of the day, like with high ticket, it's not about how good you are. It's about like, positioning and leverage and how well you're liked and all that stuff. Because everyone's gonna hire the guy who they like more than the guy who's technically has like better results and all that stuff. I feel like most times.
Yeah, yeah. And again, like this, you know, those people that sell sales programs and like, oh, we've got we've got 150 hours of how to handle objections. It's like, bro, it only goes so far. Like, what
Yeah.
objections are you going to handle? The fucking, oh, we're not interviewing at this time objection? like, like, come on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I remember thinking like objection handling was like I was like stressing over it. And then the more you're into sales, it's just like you don't have to worry about that if you just run a good sales call.
yeah. And you have a good offer and
Yep.
you actually do what you say you're going to do. Uh, so yeah, sales. I mean, I'm not putting sales training, sales coaching down at all. Like, there's a time and a place for it, but you do have to realize like there's diminishing returns after a certain point. If what you're looking to do is just get better at sales. Now, if you're looking for like network, yeah, dude, pay whoever you want as much money as they want you to, and get into their network, because that honestly is what really pays off in the long run. Like I
100%.
have coaching programs that I joined like back in early 2022. And they weren't sales programs, but like I've had multiple jobs and multiple opportunities to like place reps and build systems and do all that just from like being the sales guy in those programs. So yeah, I would say just go into it with the right expectations. Um, so yeah, and you've I mean invested in a good amount now.
Yeah,
Like, do you think the biggest thing that you got out of all of it like was kind of the network and just who you know?
100%. Yeah, like I nowadays before I would buy courses and I'm like I'm gonna learn all this stuff. Realistically, you could find most of the courses. I tweeted about this too on like free YouTube stuff, like Hormozy, Colgore, all those guys, which some people don't like and some do. But you can find like all of the content that you're gonna get from a course on YouTube for free.
Yeah,
And the people that you meet and the stuff that you can leverage while being in those communities is like 100% worth it. Like people make fun of me because I join every coaching thing. They're like Tristan's collecting the infinity stones of like the high ticket coaching thing. But I just like the access to all the people. It's like 100% worth it for me.
yeah. That's funny. You are collecting the Infinity Stones, but I mean,
I'm
there's a
getting close
reason
to.
that there's a reason that you like have found success, with this, and now like, dude, you are at a point where if you're looking for a new job, you reach out to a couple of people, and you've got like warm intros and a resume to make it make sense.
Yep.
So, all right, cool. So I'm trying to think. And I just, dude, I'm kind of burnt out. I just recorded another podcast before this, so I might need you to pick up some slack here. But
Yeah. You want to go back to like young T, like high school T?
let's go back to Young T, bro. What was Young T like? Was he was a gamer, right? He's kind of a nerd.
Gamer, big gamer, bro. Got the setup behind me actually. But young T, like high school, middle school, super extroverted overall. Got along with like most groups, right? Obviously, in school, everyone's got their cliques. But like stuck to that pretty much. Was like every year, my teachers would always email my parents like Tristan's like he's such a gem, blah blah blah. He's gonna do great things, and I always had like below average grades. Like I'd get like C's and D's, just because I didn't like homework or grades. Like it wasn't hard like tests. I just didn't do it. I was there for like to mess around all that stuff. Like I remember in junior year, I had like 130 zeros on my pre-cal class because I just didn't turn in homework. But like all those teachers always like loved me, they adored me. So I think that's kind of why I did decide to lean into sales too, because like, dude, I didn't even show like respect to their class, and they still like loved me. So I feel like that's like a sign in some case.
Yeah, how did you graduate if you like had all those grades?
Made it work, bro. You know, it's like the Pareto principle. I just gotta pass. I gotta do the 20%. That's gonna get me like 80% of the results. So I like do the exams and the tests, and I pass them, and then I'd go
Yeah.
like mess around. I wouldn't like skip class though. I just didn't like homework because I was
Yeah.
like too busy gaming.
So you were like extrovert, but you weren't necessarily like a troublemaker. You were just like golden retriever type dude.
Yeah, pretty. Yeah, in school I was like very golden retriever esque. Um, and I just get home from school and I was like way into Counter Strike. If everyone knows that, and I like wanted to go pro in Counter Strike so bad. In an alternative timeline, I am a professional. Side note. Um, but I got like really good at that. And then like out of high school, I got hit with like a brick of reality where I can't just like do nothing and get like $1 million pretty much. Which I think most guys are like. I know you were like a big skater like that too, but like worked a few serving jobs. You know, the good old COVID happened. Did like got the unemployment, put that all in crypto, lost it all, and then I
Bro,
found the high ticket stuff.
wait, how did you lose in crypto in a bull market? What happened?
It's because I stayed too long. I lost like 14K. It wasn't a lot. It was like the government money too, so I was like, it's okay. But I lost like it on Ethereum. So
Dang, dude. No wonder you DM'd me.
Yeah, I was down bad, dude.
Down bad. Were you did you like when you were younger, like kind of in high school, outside of high school, like did you have a vision of just like having like making a good income, but you just didn't know how kind of?
Yeah, I knew college wasn't like it for me, and I didn't like doing tests and exams. I liked the teachers and like the environment or whatever, of like speaking with the students, but I didn't like the whole college high school route. And I was in the lucky position where my parents, and again, I'm extremely lucky for this, but they're like, Tristan, college isn't for everyone, so we're not going to push you. And I know you know my dad; he's very, not the normal dad, right? Hypnotist. Um, so they pushed for the non-conventional route, and at first I was like Peter Panning, just like having fun, and then at some point, like, you have to do some stuff with life, right? You can't just be like 19, 20 years old, just like messing around all day. You got to grow up at some point. And I knew like I wanted to make a good like a good income. I don't care about making like billions and billions of dollars, right? That's which most high ticket dudes, they're like entrepreneurial. I'm more of like a freedom guy, so I want to be able to make good money, without having to be strapped down in a certain location or a certain amount of hours and all that stuff. And that's where the high ticket is a perfect vehicle for that.
Yeah. That was my thing too. Like I wanted to make good money, but like dude, some of these guys who were like, bro, I'm gonna be a billionaire, like, what's the point, bro? What's
Yeah,
the point? Like you don't take it to the grave, like whether you die with 100 million or a billion, like, dude,
I mean, it'd be nice, but
live your life. Yeah. Um, so yeah, that's kind of why I got into it as well. High ticket sales. I got into sales like originally just to make more money, and I started making more money, and then I was like, well, high ticket sales like seems more like a lifestyle thing. At the time, I was being sold like kind of a dream or like an idea, and like for a good amount of time, like I was kind of I had that like lifestyle high ticket sales role where I was like I was making good money, but not like working like a dog. Most of these sales jobs nowadays, or even back then, like you're going to be working a lot if you want to make a lot of money. That's just how it
yeah,
goes. Like I know you've like had packed calendars. I've had packed calendars. It's like 8 hours a day, back to back to back, no lunch, no gym, nothing. Like you just show up, take your calls, do it again the next day. Like I don't know. It's
yeah.
part of it's a rite of passage, I guess you could say.
Close two deals on the beach. No, that's not it.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I got sold the dream too. And then I see myself, I have like 8 calls back to back to back, like 2 of them no show, but it's still like 6 hours. And then I'm like taking a nap, and then I'm like doing sales training, and then I'm going to bed, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm
yeah,
not closing deals on the beach.
yeah. I tried to close deals from the beach once.
It's hard, bro. The sun, the sun's on your laptop, dude.
Yeah, no, I not really, but like I went to the beach. I think last summer while I was like in high ticket sales, and I was dude, what was I closing on? I can't even remember. But I was like taking calls from the coffee shop. I was like, dude, this shit sucks. Like it's loud. They can't hear me. I can't hear them. People are looking at me. I was like, nah, dude, let me just go back to my apartment and close these things.
Yeah,
But yeah, so you're more of the guy who's kind of just like I just want to make my decent money and then do what I like to do, which you know this is perfect for that. And you're gonna have like on seasons and off seasons. You might have summer vacation, whatever you want. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so I guess like when you said like you can't just sit around 1920, like you got to do something. Were your parents pushing you to like go learn how to weld or something, or like what was the situation?
It's a good question. Yeah, that's like a great kind of segue. My dad was like, dude, trades are like a great option. So I was like considering doing like electrician work, which again, tradesmen, like God bless you, right? Job security is there. It's a great skill to learn. You're always gonna have it. They get paid well, unions, all that stuff. I got some buddies who do like that stuff. So that was an option, and then I was just kind of like meandering. Like I kind of finessed my way out of like responsibility again, as the Tristan way goes. Back when I was like 19, of course. And then I was like, okay, so I could either do like the electrician stuff. I don't want to help people in some way. And I know I want to make a lot of money. So there was like three options. It was the electrician route, or like trades. There was like the EMT firefighting route, which EMTs don't make a lot of money, but firefighters make like good money. They have good schedule, all that stuff. I think it's like the best job in the world, right? With the schedule and all that stuff. And then I found the high ticket stuff. And I remember having a conversation with my dad. I was like, this high ticket stuff might not be around forever. I know that, there's always going to be fires. There's always going to be people that need electricians. So the firefighting and the EMT and the electrician stuff's always going to be there. But I'm not sure about this whole little bubble that I just found. So I was like, if you could just like take a bet on me and let me do this for like 3-6 months, like I will make like X amount of money, or I'll show you that it's a thing. And he was like, okay, like I'll give you 3 months. And if it doesn't work, you're going to pay me back like double what you paid for whatever coaching program to hold me accountable. I was like, okay, cool. Sounds good. And the high ticket stuff worked for me. But I know like the trades, they're always there. They're a great option.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, dude, actually, I don't think firefighters get paid that well. So I was
They do.
just
They do in like certain areas.
okay. Yeah,
But it's like
maybe.
80. It's not like compared to high ticket, people are like, oh,
Yeah,
that's like
yeah,
nothing. But like that's enough for me where I'm like, cool.
yeah. Especially like kind of straight out of school. So that's a crazy lineup: like electrician, firefighter, or high ticket closer. Or that's and you landed on
Closer, yeah.
that. You basically got into a program, kind of doubled down, took a bet on yourself. Here we are, probably about a year later, and probably you would probably say it paid off.
Actually, a year later, like, what was it, June 19th? I think July 4th is when I like hopped in officially. So like almost a year, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So as you were, I don't know, for some of these younger guys or like younger in high ticket sales guys, um, what are some of the things like this first like appointment setting era that you had where you just were getting into, for lack of a better term, like shitty opportunities? What in hindsight, like what could you have done to prevent you accepting these poor opportunities? Like what were the red flags?
OTE, 20K, Facebook, nah. I feel like part of it was me not interviewing well, asking good questions like, yo, what does your previous sales rep make? What's your total revenue? Like, what's the funnel look like? Just knowing things like that is really important for offers, and you can kind of tell instantly. But again, like being new, you don't really have any concept of how like the machine works, like the cogs behind like the funnel and the sales system and all that stuff. Um, so like for me, I kind of had to just fall through it. And I know dudes right now who are in that position where they're like, dude, I'm not getting paid like anything. I'm working like commission only appointment setting, which sucks. But I think that is, and especially now with the rise of like high ticket closers, um, it's becoming a little saturated where I think it's kind of rite of passage where you have to go through kind of like the shitty offers to get to the good ones. And the people who aren't like willing to be patient with that and just show up every day, like you said earlier, then they don't deserve it.
Yeah,
Obviously, there will be a lucky few that get in on offers like instantly, but the general population is going to go through like a lot of the shitty offers.
it's getting harder too. Like people are getting smarter. It's almost like for you to get into like tech sales, it's kind of like a prerequisite. You just have to have a degree because everybody else does. It's almost like that with like coaching programs because before you could have like invested into a coaching program and like because you did that, you got the job. That doesn't really happen so much. I mean, unless that person knows the person and they're like, "Oh, I love that dude and he's so good," and you're in. Like you saying that you spent $4,000 on some course from somebody that they've never heard of, like that, it doesn't really do anything for you. So like you do have to take the action. You do have to like show up day in day out, just see it through. Like especially if you're trying to do this as some transitory thing, like 3 months, 6 months. Like good luck because it usually
Yeah.
takes that much to like find something worthy of staying.
Yep. And it's not black and white. Like we always talk about this. Like some people are going to get there quicker than others, right? It doesn't mean you're like bad necessarily. It may mean that some guy got lucky over here or some guy leveraged that thing over here. It doesn't mean that you're bad, but it's like a super gray area going from that like trenches, like bro, like high tickets a scam, high tickets fake, it's not real, to like hopping on a good offer.
Yeah. And then you also, it's hard to account for like just like some people I feel are more equipped to like learn things faster and perform well. And like, I mean, I talk to a lot of people who are looking to enter this space or who are in the space and maybe having difficulty. And it's like, there's a lot of things under the hood that go into you having success here. Like things like how you speak and your like how you see the opportunity and how you see yourself as a sales rep and how you dude, like how you look on the call, like what does your room look like behind you, like all that stuff, dude. It plays a part, which some of that stuff you can control, some of it not. But if you're like a young sharp dude, and I've talked to quite a few recently actually. um, shout out to Kishan if you guys are listening, because he submitted or like he sent a lot of referrals, and these dudes are sharp, bro. And Kishan's solid, so like I mean I guess that's where they're partially learning it from. But yeah, these dudes are sharp, dude. It's like I want to connect these guys because they're gonna look good on everybody, and they're gonna get everybody the results. So yeah, I mean, before you go and say like, oh, high ticket sales is a scam and um, I don't know, it doesn't work, and like everybody wants me to pay for a job. It's like, bro, look at yourself. Like, why are you not getting connected to good opportunities? Why are you not interviewing well? Why are you being disqualified? Like, I don't know, so many, and that's just sales, bro. You have to be aware. Like, it's awareness in its
Yep.
simplest form. So yeah, little like rant there, but
Kitchen's the boy, the aquarium
yeah,
worker.
yeah, exactly. Well, let's see. So you were almost going to be an electrician. You were almost going to be a firefighter. You ended up in high ticket sales, and you went through the trials and tribulations, and you ended up closing through a opportunity through your network. What was it like? What was it like being the first time closer? Like you were working with sales, like the people you're selling to are salespeople, right? So
Yeah.
what was it like the first couple of weeks, months, warming up to that offer?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, like I remember, I mean every time, every person that I've talked to, they're like so nervous before their first call. And I don't think the nerves ever go away on calls. Like I'm still kind of nervous before every Zoom call. But I was like before, like the night before, I was like shaking. I was like, oh my god. But I was like, I have to do this, right? It's just something I have to do. Um, and the first call, I piffed. I was like, like let's go. It was like a lay down. The girl literally said like, I'm not going to give you any reason why I can't pay for this. And I've never heard that till this day. That was my very first call. And then I was like, I'm God. I'm literally the best. Um, and then I went 2 weeks without closing a single thing after. And I was like, okay, never mind. And I remember I was like, I might lose this closer position. Like I went from closing the first one to almost like freaking out and losing this. But I think that's kind of what pushed me to start refining my skills, getting good, all that stuff. But it was a strange transition going from, and I didn't have any sales experience. Like I served at like Top Golf, and I talk to people, like I'm good at that, but I never did sales. So it was like a strange transition for sure.
Yeah. What did you so like a lot of people who are not in sales think like, oh, if you're a talkative person, you're going to be good at sales. What did you have to change about yourself or your approach speaking to people, being like the golden retriever or like
Mm.
the talkative, the server, whatever, to the more of like the sales context? Like, what did you have to dial down or like add in?
Yeah, I think I had to. One is like I'm a good going person. Like everyone knows when they talk to me, like I'm like good energy. I got that young face. So big one was like frame. Like if you can't respect the person that you're on the call with, they're not going to give you money. So that was like a big one. Like I would be just getting like ran through on some of these calls. So you definitely had to learn how to just like hold your own, which I think that's what kind of gave me the nickname of like the DQ God, because I like lean into that like crazy. Or I'm like, okay, I have to get like crazy good at frame, so I have to like hold these people accountable. Um, so that was like a big one, was the frame for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, let's talk on that, dude. You're the DQ god. I'm still waiting on the merch. How has your approach changed with the whole like disqualifying people as you've like gotten more and more experience?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I'll say this: DQing just for fun, like it's stupid. Like me and Rye was on the podcast too, but me and Rye like satirically will post about DQs on Twitter, just because it gets engagement, and we're like that. But like, there's a difference between like DQing and pushing for the no, and when you're when you don't have like any concept of the difference, like I would just be DQing people just like cause they'd say like one wrong thing, which is not good. Um, which everyone's got their little weaknesses. And also like we didn't have like targeted marketing. Like our offer was realtors, and a lot of those people just don't have money. So I'd be DQing people on money like crazy. But I had to dial that back because I was like doing it too much. And um, then the nickname came, which I don't do that anymore. Like I'll throw out offers most times, but there's a difference between like DQing and going for the no. Like
Yeah.
I had one girl on a call last week who she's doing everything that our product does, but she was just looking for like accountability. And I was like, okay, well I'm just gonna like level with you, like Jordan, the level with you guy. Um, Shout out Jordan. I was like, yeah, like this is like 6K. Like, do you want to pay 6K just for accountability because you're doing XYZ and we already do XYZ? And I mean, that can go one of two ways. One, people may value the accountability. So they're like, yeah, I think it's 100% worth it. The other way is like, no, I don't. And she was like, when you put it like that, like it's kind of, I don't want to do that. And then she got off the call. Like that's kind of the difference between the two.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of a point right there where I think some people are going to agree with you and some people are going to disagree with you. And that's just how it is. Like, I lean on the side of like agreeing. Like, I'm not here to bend somebody's arm backwards to get them into a program where they're expecting one thing and they get something else, because that's how you get like chargebacks and refunds and just like low success rate, low customer
It's
satisfaction.
not
So,
not being a good human as well.
yeah, I mean, in the long run, now as a sales rep, like you kind of are limited sometimes on like what you can do. Luckily, the guy who you were working with and we previously mentioned, I believe he had been a sales rep for quite some time and he understood that. Um, but yeah, dude, some of these teams that you get on like super cutthroat. They're not like they don't even let you disqualify people. You have to pitch everybody. You have to close. Take cash by any means necessary. Like it's not really my style. Doesn't seem like it's your style. And I mean, my first closing offer, like it was kind of that. It was like a biz op offer, and dude, I just didn't feel good about selling that, so I left, and I found
Yeah.
something that I felt good about selling, and like I started doing better. Like who would have knew, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's really important to note is like there is there are like legit reasons as to why you should disqualify someone on a sales call, but you shouldn't do it because you're like doing it from a place of like reaffirming your ego, you know.
Yeah. That's
Um,
not a good idea.
and all
And
you
like it
guys,
goes with like my big thing, and everyone knows on like Twitter too, is like I like to be a human. Like I'm not like a robot. So I don't want to like overpromise something that's like not in line with what they want.
yeah,
Right? And like that's where kind of DQing comes in, like, okay, well this isn't really like that. And I'm not here to close the no's. I'm here to close the yeses, and I'm here to close the maybes, like everyone says. And the maybes kind of become yeses when you challenge them a little bit. Like, are you sure that this is what you want? All that stuff.
yeah, yeah. That's a good point to bring up as well. So for all the kids on Twitter, you heard it here first. The DQ thing is a joke. I think when I had Ryan on the podcast, we talked about that as well.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, dude, I have to ask you. Like, everyone wants to know, and then we
Right, so
addressed
funny.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a time and a place for it. Just don't go too crazy and understand like why you're doing it. But yeah, so you're selling to salespeople. You're selling to realtors. You said it, so I'll say it. What is that like? I mean, I know you don't have too much to compare it to up to this point, but what's been the experience so far?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of it's like hybrid. So you'll get like B2C calls where um people are just super like emotional, and I was talking to a lot of females. So it's pretty easy to run those calls, and then you'll get the B2B guys or the girls where they're like really savvy, they're super sassy, and you just kind of have to deal with it differently. And that's where like my frame was getting like ripped apart on those B2B calls, which I had to learn a lot. But it depends. Like it's kind of a coin flip when you
Yeah,
hop in a call.
yeah. Was it is that where you started like pushing for the no and you started seeing better results?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and especially like the savvy people, I just like be like, dude, I just call them out, and something they'd be like, damn, like, and back to Rye's point, I know he was on the podcast. Like they're gonna respect you more if you kind of push them and challenge, not too hard, obviously, but they're gonna respect you more as a person if you kind of challenge them versus if you're just asking questions like, oh, how are you getting your leads? Like those kind of boring questions, those aren't gonna move the sale forward.
Yeah, yeah. I had a good question at the top of my mind, but I lost it. Damn. Yeah, I lost it.
It's all
Anyways,
good,
I'll
bro.
probably remember later.
Yeah.
But let's see. What's something good to cover? What do you think the audience wants to know about your experience so far?
Hmm. I'm not sure. I just feel like a big because I'll get questions like, how did you get in the high ticket stuff? How did you connect with a ton of people? How do you know XYZ? I think a big part of it is the Twitter, right? And we with the high ticket space, we operate on that Twitter realm. So if you're and some people are like low key, which is fine, but if you want to be in the high ticket sales space for like a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, because I know the average lifespan of a rep isn't a long time, right? People get sick of taking calls all day, but you need to be building out that Twitter and talking with people and throwing a shit post or whatever because we operate in that realm. So if people don't know you, like it's you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, and on Facebook too. Even
Yep.
though I hate to admit it, like if you're in the community, you clearly know who Mr. Camilo is, the Facebook goat. Um, like Facebook is just another tool, just like Twitter. Um, I'm sure there's other places too. Like Instagram is it's not really like community oriented, you know. But I
Yeah.
could imagine. I've never looked into it, but if somebody wants to look into high ticket sales Reddit and report back to us, that would be cool.
Oh God.
Dude, I know
Oh
there's like
God.
a market for the like enterprise B2B stuff on Reddit. Um, but yeah, I'm sure there's something for like high ticket sales out there. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, the brand is huge, and then also just like showing up, like you can spend fucking $15,000 on all these different coaching programs, and you don't like you never send a message in the channel, you never interact, you never show up to live calls. You're not gonna get what you want. You're not gonna get what you think you're gonna get out of it because, like we discussed earlier, most important thing is like the people that you meet inside. Um,
Yep.
so yeah, let's see. Let's see, dude. What do we? I feel like I already know you, so like I'm trying to think of like what would people want to know about you. Um, what's it like to sell to older people and I say older, like maybe they're 5, 10 years older than you, in an industry that you don't really have experience in yourself.
Yeah, like I'll get the dads who are like, you could be my son, and I remember I saw something on Twitter. This guy's like, I just say I'm 12. So I've tried that out a few times, and the guys laugh. They're like, how old are you? You could be my son. I'm like, oh, I'm 12 years old, and they laugh like every time, which like diffuses kind of the tension.
Yeah,
I don't think it's any different though. Like if you're competent, you can sell in anything.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely even felt that way last year when I was selling on certain offers. So you just grow out the beard and then you get frame, and it's just how
Yeah,
it
you see
goes.
the beard right here? Yeah.
No, dude, I used to like rock the mustache, bro. It used to be my thing. I think it's my profile picture. I've got it on there. And then I grew out the beard to have beard
Yeah,
frame.
you look like Young Mosey.
Young Mosey. Dude, I've had
You've gotten
multiple.
that before.
Yeah, yeah. Multiple people told me that, bro. In real life, I don't look like that. Like I'm tall and skinny. Like it's funny.
Yeah.
But um, shoot, dude. What do the people want to hear? What are some of the best ways that you've been able, besides like spending thousands of dollars to like have access to talk to somebody, what are like some of the best ways that you found to build relationships with people who are further ahead of you in this space?
Yeah. Yeah, because there's the type of person on Twitter or Discord or group where they're like reply guying to you, and you can just smell it.
Yeah,
And Leo talked about this on his pod. Like if you ask a good question in my DMs, like I'll reply, and it goes the same way with you. Like if you ask a good question or you say like something that actually brings value, like they'll appreciate that more, and they'll see
yeah,
you in your feed, and then blah 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 blah. Like they'll follow you maybe, or you can hit them up, or you can hop on a call. Like I've had people who have done that with me, and I've hopped on one calls with them, and they're like the coolest people ever. Um, so it's just stuff like that.
yeah. And just seeing it through, like if you message them with the intention of having an immediate ROI, like good luck, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you got to see it through
Hey, love your post. Are you looking for short form?
every time, bro. Do you get short form pitches?
Dude, everyone gets short form. I get short form pitches. I get like Gosha. I could grow out your account to 100K, and these dudes got like 100 followers. No flame on them, but like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah,
yeah,
also just like you could just tell, like genuine, like people being genuine. That's why people I think connect with me because I'm just like genuine. I'm like myself on Twitter. I'm not trying to be like this crazy like the normal kind of archetypal high ticket closer where they're like intense and they're like manosphere. Like I'm just doing my thing.
yeah, yeah. I uh, I think that's similar to like me. Why people resonate with what I've done up to this point, because I don't like, dude. I've never like in the community. I've never had anybody join because I told them that you could make like 10K a month in 30 or like 90 days or anything like that. Like I literally just live tweeted the journey from like traditional sales job to high ticket sales job, and people were like, "Oh, how do I do that?" So
Yeah.
it was like a natural thing there. Um, but yeah, so what? I mean, what do you now that you've like got this foundation, like 6, 7 months of closing real results under your belt? Like, where do you plan on taking it?
Yeah. So I mean, right now, again, I'm finishing up, right, like coaching with Jane David over there, great dudes. They're super sharp, and I'm just like assessing the next offer right now. Currently, probably hop on something that's more has a higher ceiling. Um, and I mean, from there, just gonna keep closing, collecting cash. I know. I mean, everyone knows that my dad and I are pretty connected on Twitter. So, I mean, be on the lookout for something with both of us soon.
Oh shoot, Guru Arc,
Collab,
Guru
collab,
Arc. Oh shoot.
maybe.
Yeah, community members, if you're listening, you probably I've met Tristan's dad. He came in and gave us a master class. But yeah, dude, that's cool. You guys are gonna put something together. You're gonna close for him, run up the
Maybe,
scoreboard.
maybe. Who knows? You never know.
Yeah, you should do like a program on how to get your son into high ticket sales, and it's like a hypnotism thing.
That could be something.
It's
Yeah.
like your son's just sitting around playing Counter Strike all day. Like let's close him or let's hypnotize him on being a high ticket sales rep.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Blue ocean. It's a blue ocean.
Yeah.
Um, cool. I mean, how does I'm curious, like, what you're doing compared to like the other people in your lives, like your friends and all that. Like, what do they think of like what you're up to?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I'm actually one of the more vocal ones of like what I do. Like, I'll post like a screenshot on like because my Instagram is like my hometown homies and like family. Like, I'll post a screenshot of like a tweet that I had, or like because on Twitter I'll put like checkpoints, like what we talked about, where you're kind of documenting your journey. So I'll like fill them in on that. And I mean, they're like, at first they thought I was in like a scam, like I got scammed, like Tristan, you're dumb. But then they like started seeing like, oh, Tristan's actually like people kind of know Tristan in the online money space. Like he seems like he's doing well. He's busy. So like all my friends know about this stuff, and I've tried putting a couple on, but to no success, as we've talked about privately.
Doesn't work, bro.
It's impossible.
Doesn't work. Except Terry. Shout out Terry.
Terry's the boy, yeah.
Um,
But they're finishing up college right now. I think they just finished. So
yeah.
they're like going into normal jobs, all of them.
Well, I finished college and I'm here too, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people. It's only like give them like 2 to 3 years out post school, and they're gonna be like, "Yo, Tristan, what were you up to again?" Like back in 30.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
No shit on college though. I mean, college is dope. You learn. I think you get a lot of leverage out of college too. It's just a different kind of leverage.
Yeah. I mean, different paths for everybody. Like I feel like I can talk on it pretty well because I went to it and like I did it. I got the job, whatever. Just depends what you want out of life. Like if you can identify that before you even go to college, then you're gonna have a leg up. The worst thing is going to college for 4 years and then realizing, oh, like what I've been paying my time and attention to this past 4 years, like doesn't even get me where I want to be. And then you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And you're 4 years behind, your friends. Like I had friends, dude, that were in the trades, like oil fields here in Texas. And it was like so many times that I just wanted to like drop it and go. Cause they had like newest trucks and they had like houses and boats and they're like 22, 23 years old. I was
Those
like,
oil
bro,
guys, dude.
yeah. I was like, bro, that could literally just be me. Like, I don't even, because I was studying construction science, and it's like, it's kind of in the same like project management, like I don't know, blue collar type stuff. I was like, bro, they don't have degrees, but like they're so much farther ahead. But
But it led you up to this point, so
it led me here. Yeah.
That's why I have a soft spot for like especially like young men out of high school that are like drifting, because I was that. And I have buddies who have gone to college and they don't know like what they're doing. They just pick like a random major and they're like, maybe it's not like what I wanted. And then they're behind now. So I have like a soft spot for that type of like drifter out of high school, or like they don't really know what they want to do. Because I was in the exact same position. So
yeah. There's a lot of people in that position, man. But the unfortunate reality is that like most like probably won't figure it out. And if you were gonna figure it out, like you've always been that person. You just haven't found the right opportunity.
Yep.
Because it takes a special type of person to stay in sales for an extended period of time and actually do well. And that type of person, in most cases, they're not going to be like drifting. They're gonna be on their shit. But everybody has like different stuff going on. So
yeah, and it's also just like like the things we tell ourselves. Like we talk about this introvert label, right, Dylan?
Oh,
Like how long did you call yourself an introvert for?
dude, until I was like 21, 20, something in there.
Yeah, and like, do we look like sales? Like when I talk to my buddies, like my childhood friends that I haven't seen in years, they're like, Tristan, what are you up to? I'm in sales. Really? They like are taken aback because I don't look like a sales guy. Like I don't think you look like a sales guy. Um, and I think like the whole labels that we give ourselves, like the introvert, like I can't do this because I have to talk all day or whatever. Like it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't serve anybody but your haters. Or like it
Yeah.
really does it doesn't serve you at all. Like so you used to label yourself as like an introvert even though you were like talking to everybody in the the class like gem.
Yeah, I so like out of high school, in high school and school and all that stuff, I was like extroverted. Out of high school, I kind of like went back in my shell. Like again, like I was drifting, COVID happened, I moved. I didn't know a lot of people in my area, so I was just like, okay, like I'm just going to do my thing. So naturally when you become a recluse, like you just kind of lose some like EQ. Um and like I'm not as extroverted, I'm not talking to a lot of people, and I did become like more of an introvert. I kind of leaned more into that. And it didn't serve me well. And as soon as I kind of stopped just like telling myself unraveling like the bullshit of like I'm an introvert, even though I know I'm not. Then I started making strides.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Like there's no point. Even, like whether you're in sales or not, like there's no point. Or like even labeling yourself as an extrovert, like you should I mean, no, I don't think everybody's capable of like switching it on and off when they need to and when they want to. Like that kind of goes back to like who can have success in sales. It's like honestly, not everybody is built for that. But if you
Yeah,
are that person, but you just like tend to lean towards another side, like work on it, you know?
yeah.
So yeah, don't be an introvert. Don't be a drifter.
It's not even like it's just more of like be careful of the stories you tell yourself,
Facts.
because then you become it. Oh, I'm the awkward kid. Pygmalion effect. He becomes more awkward, and then he doesn't talk to people. Oh, I'm awkward, and then he becomes more awkward. It's just like it's a self fulfilling prophecy. Same thing with introvert. Some labels are good. I think the extrovert label is good.
I just looked that up. You said Pygmalion effect. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's just like it's like your beliefs, what other people think about you, and it just keeps shaping your beliefs, and it's like a circle, right? Like the awkward kid again. I'm awkward, so I'm not going to talk to people, which makes the people think that you're awkward, which makes you more awkward, and then it just keeps going and keeps going. Or if you just like unravel that stuff, like you'd realize, okay, I'm not awkward. Like it's like a one-time thing, or
Yeah.
it's like the minute you stop unraveling your stuff, you can actually start changing. But some people just don't want to do that. They'd rather just believe their bullshit.
Yeah. Well, not gonna make it, bro. You
And you might.
you don't get out of the Pygmalion effect, you're not gonna make it. So stop being an introvert and a drifter and start DQing.
Start becoming the DQ god. I'm waiting for my DQ goddess soon.
DQ goddess. That's funny. Well, let's see, man. Like besides you, just I think yeah, you tweeted this today, and I saw something about taking sales calls. Like you have to make an effort to like still have a life outside of that, or else you're gonna lose it. What are some of the things that you've like have helped you kind of keep your sanity as you've been in the trenches like the last year?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say like the big one's my friends, right? I live in Tennessee. Most of my buddies are in California and in Chicago. So like keeping in touch with them, right? Because we still game all the time. That helps me a lot. Another thing is like my family, right? Which some people aren't fortunate to have like a good relationship with their family. But like my mom, my sisters, my dad, my brother-in-laws, like we all have a great relationship, and we're all super tight knit. So I'm lucky to have them. so they keep me sane for the most part.
Yeah. And the gym. Gotta
Gym,
get in the gym, bro.
bent
You
rows.
gotta, if you're in sales, you gotta be like, you gotta be hitting the gym. You gotta be, I don't know, dude. That's a big thing for me is just like staying active, like, especially as you get older and shit, dude. Like,
Got to go on your walks. I haven't done walks, but like I know Justin and you guys go on your walks. I have to
dude, I'm
start.
going on a walk after this, right after.
Yeah, dude.
I'm
Maybe
gonna
I'll
get,
maybe I'll join you.
you need to start walk
Yeah,
maxing. Just pop a podcast in, pop your favorite Sales Bro Pod episode, hop on the
yeah.
trail, get some
Pop some
sun, no
Zyn.
shirt. Yeah, that's really good, dude. Because I think, like, I don't like listening to podcasts at the gym. Like, it's not for me. I like to listen to podcasts though when I walk, and I feel like I have some of my biggest like breakthroughs when I'm just walking outside. So,
Yeah,
dude, that's it. This whole like year and a half where I kind of quit my job cold turkey. I like if it's sunny outside and I have an hour, I'm walking like every day, dude. So that's
yeah,
been
and it's like crazy ROI because you feel like insane, and then maybe
feeling.
you come back and you got a call, you feel insane, and then they feel that, and you close them.
They feel that
Then you make
energy.
$1 million.
Make a million. Yeah, yeah, man. You guys got to start walking and going to the gym and playing games with your friends. But don't play too many games with your friends.
Yeah, we
Gotta
better
be
not
safe.
be seeing you on guys on Rocket League when you're supposed to be doing outreach. Come on, guys. Like, jeez.
Dude, no
Yeah,
Fortnite when you're supposed to be watching sales calls, bro.
yeah,
Um,
yep. Balance.
it's all about balance, bro. Talk to this
That's what I
guy.
think. Yeah, like in the high ticket space, and like the online money Twitter, they always talk about like monk mode and sprints. And I think sprints are good, right? Like I did like a 6 month sprint on this offer, and then like take like a month off, or you have to find ways to balance it because you can't just always be on. In my opinion, maybe some people are built like that. I'm not built to always be on, so you
Yeah,
have to find ways to balance out your life.
yeah, dude. When I was in roofing sales, we would take like December. We would like actually take like half the month off. But we would like kind of coast, and it was weird because like the whole rest of the year we would push quota like go hard, and then at the end of the year it's like, dude, we made like millions of dollars this year. Like, let's enjoy it. Like, let's take some time off. Let's reset. Spend time with the family. And that was actually really like I haven't thought about that since like way back then, but like bringing it up now, having just like some time off, bro, like is really important and like progressing through this space, whether you're appointment setter, closer, whatever.
Yeah,
Um, and also, dude, I feel like you do kind of like when you surround yourself with this so much, you kind of get into this little bubble and you kind of forget like what else is going on outside of that. And you take
yeah,
a step back for like a weekend or a week and you're like, wow, dude, there's so much more going on than like high ticket closing.
yeah. It's
It's
tension and release. Like
yeah,
everyone on money Twitter is like make money, Rolexes, supercars, but it's like okay, like if you're working 12 hours a day for years and years and years, like you don't even have any time to like enjoy your life. And that's like the thing about life, right? You have to enjoy it. Like it's okay to work. Everyone should work. If you do a little too much enjoying and you Peter Pan, you're gonna drift, like we talked about. But like money Twitter gets pretty intense sometimes, and that's where I think some like impressionable young men come on here and they're like, I'm gonna grind, I'm insane, I'm a killer. And it's like you can still enjoy life and close. Like you don't it doesn't have to be one way or the other. Like you could like mix them.
yeah, yeah. I'm always trying to find the constant balance of living online and like living in real life. Like a lot of weekends, like I won't even log into like social media. I'll just kind of step back. But you can bet like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna when I come back, like the content is gonna be consistent. Like it's gonna be thoughtful and all that stuff. So yeah, logging off super important. And that's like any sales job, bro. Like just take time off. I mean, make sure you earned it though. Like don't take time off when you should be working.
Yeah.
Um, don't
There's a right place and a right time for it.
no Rocket League when you should be reviewing sales calls.
Yeah.
Um, well, shoot, man. Let's see. What's some last minute stuff we can hit on for the fellows out there?
Um, let's think here. Let me think. I don't know. People ask like why sales, right? Then why do you think we chose sales?
uh,
For you, everyone's got different things, right?
because it was like, I mean, I really got confronted with the topic of like, okay, this is the life I want. What's the best way to get that? Like, what's going to give me the best income to lifestyle ratio with as little, ideally as little like prerequisites as far as degrees and education, and what's
Yeah.
scalable? Like, what can I go on? If I wanted to be a sales rep for my life, like, what could I eventually go on and make close to, or if not more, 7 figures a year by getting really good at? It's that.
Yeah.
That's it for me. I don't know if you have a different view on it.
Yeah, I mean it's similar where like one, I didn't need a degree to make doctor's salary, right? You could do this without a degree, in like less than you would going to college. Like it could probably take you like a year before you built up the full skill set. Whereas college, you might need to go 4, 8 years, all that stuff. Um, Along with, and Jay talked about this, is that like sales? People think sales is like the Wolf of Wall Street, like crazy, just like forcing things down people's throat or whatever. When it's really just like communicating and having clarity in the conversation. And that happens naturally throughout everyone's day all the time. So it's like a meta skill where if you get good at sales, like it will translate towards every avenue of your life in some way. And you don't realize what ways until maybe you've had a conversation. You're like, whoa, or that. Like I've had that happen so many times where I've like thrown in some like sales sauce accidentally in real life situations. And that's where it's just like the meta skill, like building block to wherever you want to go. Cause you always have that at the end of the day.
A little mirroring in your day to day, your day to day conversations. Yeah,
Mirroring?
dude, the sale,
Yeah.
like the stuff that you'll take away from sales that you can implement. I mean, since I've been into sales, like, I mean, I've been in a relationship. I haven't had to like, go and make any efforts there. But I can imagine like you're trying to go out, out on the town, talk to some ladies that can help you. You're trying to, I mean, job interviews is one thing. Like, dude, being a sales guy, like the interview is your job. Like, sell
Yeah, you're
yourself.
selling yourself. Yep.
Um,
Same with
and
girls.
same with girls, bro. You got to
Selling
close.
yourself. Yep.
And with your friends, like, dude, I mean, I've had the same friends for a while, but like, I found that I can oftentimes get what I want through the friend group. Like, oh, you
Yeah.
guys want to eat here? Like, this is why I don't want to eat there. This is why we should eat here instead. Like, making the
Yeah.
case. There's so many real life like use cases. So
Yeah. You could throw
yeah,
out the implication questions in real life. That's what I did.
yeah. So if we eat here, 2 hours from now, you're
Nah.
gonna be hungry again. Uh,
What
yeah.
happens then? No, I don't know.
Actually, like
Yeah.
I actually found myself being naturally persuasive before I was ever in sales. Like I kind of always got what I wanted, like not in like a stuck up, spoiled kind of way, but in a way where I was like I could use logic and build a case and then, interject just enough emotion to like get people over the line.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that really helped me. Like when I came into sales, I was like super IQ heavy. Like, dude, I was the dude who was like, oh, look, I'm going to take the IQ test and I'm going to like max it out. Like, oh, it says I'm 130. Like
You 130 IQ, Dylan?
yeah, like dude, I would take these tests and I would max them out, but then I got introduced to the concept of like EQ, and I was like, no, dude, this is more important. Like
Yeah.
IQ, like I'm not here to solve a math problem, like I'm here to solve their problem. and I need a little bit more than just like IQ to get that done.
Yeah,
Um, do you feel
that's what I'll
like
say. I'm
you're,
on the flip side of that.
yeah,
Like I think I'm logical and I'm a smart dude, 100%. Like I think I'm sharp, and the EQ is definitely greater than the IQ for me.
yeah, and the DQ is greater.
The DQ is greater than the EQ. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, dude. So you don't have to be like Tristan said. You don't have to be Wolf of Wall Street. Just be, a dude with good intentions. Like the fact that you want to make a lot of money, good. That means you're just going to help more people solve their problems.
Yeah, and everything works. Everything works. People are like, "Oh, this frame doesn't work and that frame doesn't work," and blah blah blah. I think some like frames or like ways of running calls are better, but like everything works. Like some people are like, "You need to be cold. You need to be an assassin. You need to be a sniper on these calls." That's not me. That's
Yeah,
just not who I am. I'm gonna just have a conversation with you and like be a human, connect human. People don't buy from Chat GPT AIs. They don't. They want to talk to a human before they invest 4, 5, sometimes 6 figures. Um, and that's where my strength comes from, being a human on these calls.
yeah. That's one good thing to note as well. You've mentioned that before. It's like your selling style, my selling style. Sure, there's similarities, but they're not the same. And like, dude, honestly, it's actually really hard to find two people where they sell exactly the same. Like, I know hundreds of salespeople, but they all have that unique style. Those who have really dialed it in and figured it out and got the reps, like you develop your own sauce, which, becomes difficult to teach, but you teach the baseline, the fundamentals, and then people build upon that. So just lean into like who you are. Um, I don't know, like some of my philosophies that I use are just like I'm a pretty like straight lot like very logical seller. Like kind of I can get kind of technical. Um, but I think I'm really good at like not needing the sale because like I'm gonna be good either way. What are some of
Yeah.
the like if you had to kind of look at your game, like what are some things that you think work well for you?
Empathy. Empathy 100%. Like I feel most times on the like if people are crying, I've had people cry, like I'll start getting like choked up. Which goes into I'm the opposite of that where sometimes I care too much on calls where I'll get like frustrated or I'll feel something when I shouldn't because I should be just like doing my process because like that's like I shouldn't worry about closing the deal or not, which is something I have to work on. Um, but definitely like empathy is my number one, just like caring about the person.
Yeah, and that's a really good example. Like empathy is honestly, bro, it's something that I like make an effort to work on. Like I feel it, but I definitely don't express it naturally on sales calls, and so that is kind of some a piece of my game that I'm actively like I've been actively working on that for like a year. Like you don't just figure it out and then you're good forever. Like it's a constant thing.
Yeah.
So it's a good
And
example where
everyone
you're like,
and even like the best closers, right? They still have holes in there's no like perfect sales call. Like you can go look at like Leo, Jay, Caden. You can look at any of these like really solid closers, and they'll have holes in their game because there's no like perfect sales call. It's like because every sales call is different. Like you adapt differently. Everyone runs it differently, so everyone runs into different problems.
yeah, yeah. It's crazy how you didn't put me in that list, but it's all right. I'll get over it.
That's because you're on here.
I'm just kidding.
This
No,
guy.
dude, all those guys are like great from what I know. Um, yeah, yeah. And if you're trying to, I think you said earlier, like earlier in your time, you were trying to like sell under a style that didn't really resonate with you, and like it was kind of not working for you. So like if you try that, like you should go try it. You should go and find what works for you and find what doesn't. But you'll know very clearly. It's like people are gonna they're gonna like you try to play the authority power frame thing, and you're like this kid in his childhood bedroom, and like this
Yeah.
dude's
You think I could
the
pull off Chad
star
frame? No, no
Chad
shot.
frame. Yeah, dude, you're gonna get laughed at. He's gonna disqualify you. Like, and you're gonna have to go
Yeah.
back to your CRM and write exactly what happened, and then you're gonna look like an idiot. So
Yeah.
yeah, don't take it with a grain of salt, but like you got to find your own sauce. So
Yep. And I think what helps with that is going back to like the other point is like, not, you don't have to pay for groups, but every like established person on the high ticket space, they're good at something. So like examples, like Dylan, I think you're really good with frameworks. I think your frameworks are solid. Like to follow them, how you run a call. I think your frameworks are like the best. Caden and Jay, I think are like the most conversational. Like if you want to get good at conversational like sales calls, I think those guys are to go to. Like David, sales psychology, he's good, right? Frame, how to have respect on the call. I think closed and paid, like Richard, he's like the go to, right? There's all these different kinds of dudes where you can talk to them or like get their little thing and add it to yours, and you don't have to become them, but maybe take like one or two things that they do and throw that into like your game. And then again, like to go to Grant's point, like you kind of establish your own sauce and you establish your own style, and then people start asking you for tips or stuff, and then it repeats itself like that.
yeah, and you'll never be done. Like, dude, even me to this day, like I'm still learning every single day. Like every new thing that you sell, it's gonna change the way that you sell, and like unless you're gonna sell the same shit for the rest of your life and you're already as good as you can be, like you're going to have to continuously adapt. Like I right now am on my second week on a new offer, and like it's been a wake up call. Like, I mean, it's been in a good way, but like, dude, I've never sold anything like this before, and the types of people I'm speaking to, like, it requires me to show up differently, and it requires me to like play the game differently. Which that's
Yeah.
why sales is fun, dude. Like you're never gonna beat sales,
Yep.
So, and then you just get the resume and you continue to leverage up and up and up into better and better opportunities, meet more and more people. Like by the time you know it, you look back 2 to 3 years and you're like, wow, dude, it doesn't even like in hindsight it makes sense, but like looking forward, you never could have guessed where you would have been.
Yep. And that's like life. Like all of the worst things that have happened to me have been the best things that have happened to me.
Wow, that's
Probably
deep.
same with you, right? Where you're like, fuck, this I'm in the mud right now. This sucks. I hate this. And then like looking back, like the reason why you got out of the mud was because you were in it and you didn't see clearly. Like you don't have the path ahead of you, but you have like the first step, right? So you just gotta like take that. And then oh, maybe you gotta go over here. Maybe you gotta go over here. Um
Yeah,
it's such a gray area.
yeah, it's not black and white. You said that earlier, and that's something I pretty often say as well. Um, so yeah, I think like just to have success in sales, like you just need to be aware in its simplest terms. Like be aware of yourself, your prospects, your offer respective to others in the market, your shortcomings, your strengths, your weaknesses, what other people are doing. Just be aware, dude, and practice that and meet people and don't play Rocket League when you're supposed to be reviewing sales calls.
This guy
Yeah.
really hates Rocket League. Shout out
And
Rocket
then,
League. No.
and
Yeah, I
then
think the big one though is like the awareness of yourself. I'll have people who I'm sure you were like this, I was like this, where you get to the price and there's like a price objection and you instantly just are like kind of annoyed. At least like starting off. And like they can sense that. You have to be aware of how you're coming across to them.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, let's. I think we covered a good amount, man. Like not too much on one topic or another. Just kind of overall your experience so far. Because a lot of this stuff, like to this point, it's pretty mental. Like the biggest deal that you have to close is like you closing yourself on the idea that you can actually do this. Like,
Yeah,
uh,
you have to close yourself, 100%.
yeah. And then once you get past that, it's just like can you stay consistent long enough to actually see the fruits of your labor? Which
Yeah,
most people do not. Like, it's just how it goes. It's just
and don't
life.
be a dickhead. But
And don't be that.
it's a
Don't be that.
small space. You have to be careful how you come across, right?
Yeah, that's a really good point too. Like everybody knows everybody for the most part. Like if you're doing anything worth doing, people know who you are, and your reputation gets around 100%. So be careful. Be careful with what you do.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
dual-edged sword. Like if you're good, then everyone knows you're good. If you're
yeah,
kind of a screw up, then kind of sucks. You have to
everybody's gonna
fix
know.
that.
You're gonna get exposed. Well,
Yep.
all right, dude. I think it's been good so far. Um, where do you want the people to find you?
I'll just do the Twitter. Twitter Tristan Nolan, I think. The normal. That's where I operate. Also in
Cool.
Dylan's community. But like Twitter is the one social that I actually use. So hit me up there. It's usually like Kishan said, I'm kind of a clown on there, but I usually post some value, some shit posting.
Yeah.
And yeah,
You wanna plug the Discord or what?
this guy
Uh,
hit up
yeah.
my Rocket League tag, DQ God 441.
All right. You heard him here first. I'll link it below. If you're in the community or a lot of people listening to this are considering joining, um, he's in there. He does a weekly coaching call. You can hop in for an hour, talk to this guy, as well as a few other coaching calls a week. So yeah, if you guys made it this far, shoot this guy a follow, and hopefully we see you inside the community.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.